I understand you're afraid to shoot. Everyone's afraid to shoot. Experienced wrestlers understand shooting takedowns towards the legs is a high risk, high rewards operation. The high reward is you get the opponent on the ground, you're on top, or you can create force and they can't. You have maximum options. The risk is if you get stuck underneath, you're supporting all of your weight and all of their weight. So you're potentially shooting into a deficit. There is one single technique though that can erase a lot of this fear for you. It's called a peek out. It's very accessible and you only have to learn it to one side. This can take out a ton of your apprehension when you're first learning wrestling or grappling altogether. Just learn how to peek out, and when you shoot into your deficit, that can become the setup for your peek out. Your failed shot becomes the setup for a successful back take. All right, so the peek out, I take a bad shot or my opponent just has a really good reaction and they sprawl my way in. There will be a split second, a moment. Usually there will be a moment where both arms are draped over my torso, allowing me an opportunity to peek out. I take a shot, Alex sprawls, and we're in this position, right? Bad deficit. I'm supporting all my weight, all his weight, and he's supporting none. All I have to do is quad pod up. Whatever your lead leg is, that's the leg that's gonna cross diagonally. Sit to your hip, and the adjacent arm is going to windmill. My elbow is going to windmill above his elbow. Really simple movement, very nuanced. Get in here and really feel your elbow reach towards his armpit. If I'm in here, I need to elevate my hip so I can have room to sit through. It's not enough to just try and hit it from here. You need to create space because he's got weight on you. It will drop as you sit through. If I go to here, he's just gonna squish me. I need to create space for my hips. Some guys like to sit to their shin, right? They think it creates more mobility for them to turn in. Some guys like to sit to their hip because it gives me a little more of a level change on my way down. I personally like to sit to my hip. Hips come up, quad pod, slide underneath. And as I slide, my elbow goes high into his armpit in this windmill motion, and my elbow throws down to the ground. It's a whipping motion. If you hit it right, if you time it right, he should fall right to his hands. And when he does, all you have to do, it's as simple as turning, covering, taking the back. We go from an extreme deficit to an extremely advantageous position and taking it back. One last thing, you don't want to get too far outside your opponent. As I'm peeking out, my head peeks out and he slides off the side of my shoulder. I don't want to have any distance here. I want this space to be close. So when I go to turn into him, I have a short distance to cover. If I peek out and I sit really forward, that's too far away. Now I gotta change, now his hips are gone by the time I turn in. Inches or miles here, stay close. A lot of times, your peek out can turn into a setup for a double leg. This sort of reshot from this position. So I'm in, I go to peek out, and his hips fall into me. My shoulder lands near his hips. Depending on his movement, depending on a number of things, you may end up here. But since we've practiced our double leg, our traditional double, we know how to finish. We just post off this far leg and drive. And this is how you implement this into stance and motion. You don't even really need a partner to hit this. Shoot, your partner sprawls, pop up, whip, turn and cover. This is definitely something that you can drill at home. If you want to get good at this, if you really want to reduce the fear and apprehension you have with shooting, get 100 of these in a day. Guys, it's no secret with any technique, with any skill, it's no secret how you get good at things. You drill them, you practice a lot. The more you drill, the more focused, dedicated time you commit to a task, the better you will get at it. There's no way around it. Set a timer, commit to 100 reps a day, and then just get it done. Get a partner you can rely on, or maybe you have to use 3-4 partners in a day because they can only dedicate a certain amount of time. What is it gonna take for you to get better? What do you have to do to get better? All right, you can have excuses or you can have results. Commit to getting good at takedowns. One note of caution, guys, some people can like to peek out so much, they'll actually start deliberately shooting into a deficit. They'll start shooting onto their hands and knees because their number one priority is to get to the peek out. Never do that. We wanna have our A game to be shooting clean through to a takedown. The peek out allows us to have a solid backup plan if we don't get that. You never want to aim to be underneath an opponent supporting all of their weight and your weight at the same time. We never want to aim at deficits, but we want to have solid backup plans for when that happens. The peek out allows that. Grab a partner and go back and forth and talk to each other as you're doing it. When you get a really good rep in, when the defensive partner who's having the technique hit on them, when you can feel that your partner just hit a really good rep, talk about it. What happened there? Where was the elbow position? Where was your knee slide? Did you go down to your hip? Did you go down to your butt on that slide? What happened there? Try to dissect exactly what happened. Become aware of your technique. Make each other better, okay? Be deliberate. Be aware in your drilling. Don't just do mindless drilling. Don't just go through the motions. Have hyper focus. It'll pay dividends down the road. You'll get much better, much quicker having deliberate practice other than mindless practice.